Today, we're diving into Honoré de Balzac's incredible novel, Eugenie Grandet. It's a story that really gets under your skin because it's built around this huge, haunting question. What happens when one single obsession, whether it's for money or for love, just completely takes over a person's life?
I mean, really think about that. Can one single passion, greed, love, ambition, whatever it is, truly steer your entire destiny from beginning to end?
Well, Balzac was obsessed with that question. He wasn't just writing one-off stories. He created this sprawling, interconnected world he called the human comedy, all designed to prove that, yes, a human being absolutely could be consumed by one single driving force.
So let's look at how he does it. See, Balzac's whole approach was different. He didn't really create characters with a lot of internal conflict. Instead, he forged these epic figures who were the living, breathing embodiment of one overwhelming idea.
This is what literary folks call the Balzacian character. Forget characters who are a messy puzzle of different motives. These people are way more powerful. They are a person who is basically reduced, or maybe even elevated, to a single, all-consuming idea. Their entire life is just a testament to that one thing. And in Eugenie Grandet, this idea creates this epic central conflict. On one side, you have Felix Grandet, who is pretty much the incarnation of greed. And on the other, you have his daughter Eugenie, who becomes this kind of saint of selfless, absolute love. And, well, you can probably guess that their two worlds are about to collide. Hard.
Now, you have to understand just how game-changing this was. Before Balzac, the classic miser was someone like Molière's Harpagon. He was a flat, kind of funny stereotype you were supposed to laugh at. But Balzac's Grandet is something else entirely. He is terrifying. We literally watch his greed grow and fester over the years until he becomes a full-blown maniac, worshipping a golden crucifix on his deathbed.
And Balzac himself knew exactly what he'd done. He wasn't exactly a humble guy, and he once said, "Molière created the miser, but I have created avarice." He saw himself as doing something much deeper. He wasn't just showing you a greedy man, he was showing you the very soul of greed itself.
So, what force could possibly stand up against that kind of monstrous greed? Well, in this novel, it's something just as absolute. The pure, unwavering love of his daughter, Eugenie. The moment her charming but broke cousin Charles shows up, her entire life gets a new purpose. It's all for him. And that right there is the collision of passions that drives the whole tragedy.
But, Grandet isn't the only villain here. In fact, you could say the real antagonist of the story isn't a person at all. It's this new, all-powerful force that was totally reshaping French society.
Balzac doesn't really try to hide his theme. Pretty early on, he just comes out and says it. In the world he's describing, the old loyalties to God and king are fading away. A new God has risen, one that demands absolute devotion, and its name is money.
To really get this, you have to remember the context. The French Revolution had just ripped down the old aristocracy. So, all of a sudden, your family name and your bloodline mattered a whole lot less than how much cash you had in the bank. Wealth became the ultimate way to get power and to climb the social ladder.
And in this book, money is an active force. It's not just a backdrop. I mean, think about it. It's the source of all of Grandet's power. It's what drives all the local families to try and marry Eugenie. It's what corrupts her beloved Charles. It becomes the only thing Grandet worships. And in the end, it's the cold, hard cash she inherits that replaces every bit of human warmth in her life.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about the setting for a second, because the Grandet family home is so much more than just a house. It's a direct reflection of their souls.
Balzac spends pages and pages describing this place. It's dark, it's cold, it's literally falling apart, with a rotten staircase that groans every time Grandet walks on it. The physical decay of the house is a perfect mirror for the spiritual decay of the man who owns it.
And for Eugenie, that house is, without a doubt, a prison. It's where her life is just this monotonous routine, where any act of generosity is punished, and where her heart is slowly but surely starved. The very walls of the house feel like the suffocating grip of her father's greed.
So, with all that said, why does this really bleak 19th century story still hit so hard today? I think it's because Balzac basically invented a new kind of tragedy, one that was perfect for the modern world. He pioneered what's called the bourgeois tragedy.
Balzac's big idea was that the life and death struggles of regular middle-class people, their money problems, their marriage plots, their quiet heartbreaks, could be just as profound and just as devastating as the epic stories of kings and queens and Greek tragedies.
And that is the absolute key to this book. Grandet's end is monstrous, sure, but it happens fast. The real, gut-wrenching tragedy is what happens to Eugenie. It's not some big, dramatic event. It's the slow, quiet poisoning of a soul that plays out over decades of silent suffering.
Just look at how it unfolds. It starts with all the hope of a first love. Charles leaves, and Eugenie gives him her entire life savings, her precious gold coins as a promise. Then there's just silence. For 7 years. Can you imagine that? 7 years of just waiting, of holding on to that memory. And then comes the betrayal. A cold, calculating letter announcing he's marrying someone else for money and status. The final stage is just resignation. All that incredible capacity she had for love has nowhere to go, so it just curdles into this mechanical, joyless charity.
One analysis of the novel just nails it with this quote. Eugenie ends up right back where her father was, surrounded by a mountain of wealth, but completely cut off from any real human connection. The gold she once gave away as a symbol of love becomes the only thing she has left. It's money's ultimate victory over the human heart.
And that brings us to a final, pretty haunting question. In a world like ours, still so driven by financial success and social status, where ambition so often trumps affection, you kind of have to wonder, are we all in some way just characters living inside a Balzac novel?